If your child plays sports, then you probably asked yourself the question at some point, should they move up to the next level or wait just a little bit longer? Now, as youth sports becomes more competitive at younger ages, experts say age alone isn't always the best indicator for readiness. Physical development, emotional maturity, confidence, and motivation can all play a big role. So what should parents be watching for before making that next big decision? And joining us now to talk about that, to help us answer that question, Dr. Gerard Joya, Director of the SCORE program. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for spending time with us. And this is a question that a lot of parents deal with. I dealt with this with all my kids. We want to start with the question, though, that many parents are asking. What are the biggest signs that the child is truly ready for the next level in their sport?
Well, I think as you said in your intro there, you really need to look at multiple factors. You really need to look at whether they're physically coordinated, have some of the strength and the coordination, but at the same time, you also want to know that they have some understanding of the game. They have that emotional kind of readiness, meaning that they can handle both excitement, but also disappointment. You know, resilience is really important in sports. And the other part of it is that they're also paired with a team and a coach that appreciates that. And that's very important, especially from the early years where we want kids to be very excited about the involvement, whether it's a team sport or whether it's an individual sport. You want that coach to be really helping them to mature those skills as well.
All right, and we're talking about age as well, because sometimes the age of the child is appropriate for whatever level they're on. Sometimes
Yeah.
the age they need to move up, either move up or maybe they need to slow down. So how do you look at it from that perspective?
Yeah, well, so we know that there's a lot of variability in any given age. And again, that's where the sport, and we're still working on this with our sports to know what is not only the age, but the developmental maturity of the individual that's going to do well. Because, the better matched you are with that sport, the more fun you're going to have, the more success you're going to have, but probably also the less risk you're going to have for injury or other kinds of disappointment, like sitting on the bench and that sort of thing. So each sport has to examine its relationship, to that development. Again, do you have that speed? Do you have that strength? But do you have the coaches who are really encouraging the kids to persist and to continue that growth?
All right, so what are some of the red flags that the parents should look out for? You mentioned having the right coach. You mentioned all these different things. Sometimes you and I can talk about this, but we've seen parents who are just outraged that the kid is not given 100% and that this kid should be in the NBA at the age of 10 just because they're tall. So what are some of the red flags you can look out for to say, okay, either this kid is ready or this kid is just not ready or this kid doesn't care?
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to see it in their behavior and in their engagement in the sport. The kids that are not ready, there's a sense that they have that they're not fitting in or they don't have quite those skills set yet. Each sport has now what's called the American developmental model built into it, where we start at the lower age and we start to build these skills in. And the question is that child well matched to that developmental level, whether it's hockey as you're showing here, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, soccer, lacrosse, any of those kind of sports. We actually have each of those sports building a developmental model. And so the coach and the league should be able to look and talk to that youngster, see them with a tryout, and understand, are they matched for this level of the sport? Or should they start at a higher level or at a lower level and work their way up to it? So again, it's the kind of thing where sports are only beginning to do those kinds of things, and we need to encourage that more in our sporting organizations.
All right, Dr. Gerard Joya, Director of the SCORE program. Thank you very much for joining us.